Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Toolhouse University's virtual demonstration brought to you by Rhino Toolhouse. My name is Dave Johnson, the Great Plains Regional Sales Manager, and we are very thankful that you have taken the time to join us today. I guess I need to take a step back. There's two different settings. Please change your settings to gallery view versus just speaker, because there is two cameras in today's presentation or demonstration. Our mission at Rhino Toolhouse is to identify and deliver the world's most innovative industrial solutions. Today's Toolhouse University demonstration will answer the question of how do you increase the first-time yield in kitting applications? But before the demonstration, I'd like to start off with a couple of questions and a brief story. Have you ever purchased a product that required assembling, such as a desk or maybe a bookcase? Have you ever had to change a flat tire? If so, I imagine, like me, you have thought, what have your thoughts been after looking at this? Or how about changing the tire? Well, you're not alone. I hope all the parts are there. How do they know what parts go in there? Well, you're not alone. I recently purchased an outdoor storage unit that required some assembly. I was assembling a storage unit with one of my daughters, and while we were bouncing back and forth from reading the instruction manual to assembling the storage unit, we realized we were missing two screws, and that we, more like me, put a back cover plate on backwards. So what does missing a couple of screws and having your 10-year-old daughter tell you you put something on wrong have to do with kitting applications and augmented reality? We hear every day that manufacturers such as yourself are being challenged to ensure kits, whether they are containing parts, accessories, manuals, are being put together correctly. And augmented reality through light guide systems can significantly assist you in ensuring they are correct the first time. I am now pleased to introduce Dylan Smith, one of our many application engineers, to begin the virtual demonstration of augmented reality. Dylan, take it away.
Thanks, Dave. As Dave said, my name is Dylan Smith, the current application engineer for Minnesota. And today we're going to talk about light guide systems. Now, before I actually dive into our demonstration, I first want to kind of go over the hardware, everything we have here, and more specifically, what light guide is, how does it do its functions. So first of all, light guide systems is the brain of the operation. It's kind of software on our computer here. It is an MES system or process control solution. Now, what that means is it has a great way to actually provide work instructions with a projector directly onto your work surface. You know, it's in the right place at the right time, always kind of increasing your efficiency and decreasing your takt time for the operator because we're projecting rightly in front of them. The next is full process control. So it'll actually talk to every single tool and toy in our station. So if you have a torque tool like we have, machine vision camera, orbit camera, or any PLC and IO, we will control it all from start to finish, kind of creating a no fault forward solution. And last, we have full traceability for the system. You know, we built an awesome product, and then we want to go back and actually double check that we built everything right. And we can do that by storing all this data locally or to the cloud on a server. So here we have kind of our what we call our Light Guide Systems Pro, as opposed to our classic system. Now the Pro is just using an HP Sprout computer that actually has an embedded projector in the back and a 3D infrared orbit camera on the front. And that actually runs our light guide software on it. So it makes it nice, compact, great for demonstrations like this, and great for medical applications or other just kind of smaller, compact systems. Your more traditional classic system, all these would be, you know, a lot bigger with your large Panasonic projectors and cover a lot more area. So don't let this small package with a lot of power kind of wave you there. But here we actually have our demo bench we like to use here in Minnesota. We actually often bring it actually to the customer and like to give out swag and fun things like that. Or you can always come to our office in the near future. So next I'll talk about, we have a projector actually embedded into this computer. That'll project right onto our work surface. Hopefully you can see that great with our second camera. So like Dave said, make sure you can see both our front camera and our vertical camera here so you get a good view of our canvas and our projections. Second, there's an orbit camera up here. Now what that is a 3D infrared camera that actually works a lot like an Xbox Kinect camera, if you're familiar with that. But actually use infrared to measure this 3D space, and you can use that to create 3D bins, buttons, and different things to actually confirm steps and ensure a no fault forward system and that the operator is actually doing the right job every single time. You'll see that as we kind of grow through our process today. Up here, you can see a machine vision camera. We can use Cognex or Keyence or whatever you really want, but here we just have a Cognex camera. If you're not familiar with machine vision, that's actually going to take pictures of our workpiece as we're going through our process just to ensure that we made the correct decision and are building the same high quality product every single time. And lastly, we just have a torque tool here, a Stirmont-Richmont controller, which we're actually going to dive into tomorrow. I'd love to talk your ear off, but that's tomorrow's job. But I'll give you kind of a brief rundown of what this guy is. So it's just a qualifier that speaks open protocol to up to 16 tools. First one we have here is our just mechanical click wrench. So it's a mechanical action that actually delivers our torque consistently, has a nice consistent torque feel, but also we have a radio receiver, so we actually batch count. Next, we have a Bosch exact ion clutch tool. So it's another mechanical tool, but what Toolhouse Service Center and Calibration does is actually put the radio chip in here ourselves and allow you to batch count your mechanical clutch tools. And really, these are just great cost-effective solutions to batch count and talk to your line or your MES or PLC. Now, where this is the best value is really when you just want batch count and don't need the transducerized power of a DC tool. Because most things aren't, most errors found aren't because you have a slightly wrong torque, it's because you missed a bolt completely. So that's kind of what this is for. That kind of finishes up all our hardware, so please make note of any questions you might have, and I'll be happy to answer them later in this demonstration. Next, I will dive in. Please kind of look to our vertical camera, as that'll give you kind of a better view of what's going on. Also, So first of all, it says we have our logo here, and it says scan barcode. I have my awesome Pro Glove here to actually start this process. You can use a variety of things like a PLC, ERP, any fun sort of start signal to start, but most common, we have a barcode. Some use this Pro Glove. What this guy is actually a nice wearable barcode scanner you just wear it right on your hand. Makes it nice, convenient, ergonomic, and way faster to scan any sort of process. So I'm gonna go ahead and start our solution. And if you take note, I actually had the Spider-Man trigger. So first of all, I like to show we have our program time and our step time. So it's actually automatically recording all these times for you, ensuring that we can record everything and find our choke points later in this process. We have actually found out operators and users actually like to see that in front of them, just because it actually kind of gamifies it. You can race yourself or make your workday a lot more fun. Next, you can see we have a nice picture here. This can be any sort of graphic. I've taken these with my phone, but you can find them online. We actually have a full pre-recorded library of graphics on here. I like to show you what our workpiece should look like at any given moment. Next, I have here what we call a soft fixture or virtual fixture. Instead of having a wide variety of hard fixturing that you have to move out, it's clunky, time-consuming, heavy, we can actually just project down exactly what we want the operator to do, this virtual fixture. And lastly, we have these nice texts to easily tell the operator what they should be doing at any given time. So today, we're actually going to be building a tackle box. This is a Toolhouse tackle box filled with Rhino Tool swag. So it's pretty fun, and I know I'll be using this summer when I'm out fishing. And you definitely want a Rhino Toolhouse coaster when you're down by the lake. Well, let's start our process. It first says, open your tackle box and place it in the highlight area. So I'll do just that. Then it says hit the confirm button. That's just a regular hardtop table, but using this Orbit camera that I talked about before, I can actually create a virtual button. There's no physical feature there, but I can actually use infrared to determine when my hand goes through that physical space, move on to our next process. Next, we're gonna go through kitting and throw a bunch of cool Rhino Tool swag into our kit. First one is a koozie from bin 1. You can actually see I'm highlighting bin 1. So I'm gonna reach over there, grab a koozie, pull it out, and then the Orbit camera again automatically sees that I reached into the correct bin and went on to the next step. And now fold twice, place in the highlight area. If you're looking at our vertical camera, you can see that we actually highlighted the specific spot that we want this to go. So that just makes it a lot more efficient and faster. But just that, you can put it in the correct spot. Then I'll hit the confirm button to go on to our next step. Next, we're just gonna grab a flashlight. Let's say I'm not quite paying attention, maybe it's been a long day or a rough weekend. I'm gonna reach into the wrong bin, and then obviously you hear I'm being yelled at. And those are giant red X across our system. We don't currently have any shot collars, but we have 2 great feedback systems to actually tell you you're not doing the correct operation. I'll grab the correct part, and I'll go on to the next step, and then again, highlight exactly where that should go. Drop that in there, and confirm. Very last step or item that we're gonna place in this tackle box is our pen. I'll grab that, and it highlights the very last location. But I'm actually gonna hold on to that and show you our machine vision camera. Ooh, you can see we have a false positive, but that's what you get when you have a cheap camera. You kind of, you get what you pay for. They range from $500 to $20,000. So we just have a nice, easy, slightly cheaper Cognex camera. But if it worked correctly, I can place my pen in there and would have saw that. Now I'll hit confirm and go on to our next step. Now we're actually going to have some fun with our torque tools. There you can see we actually have a picture of our Bosch clutch tool, and it's telling me to tighten down our first bolt, which I can then highlight. So it draws the operator's attention exactly where they should go. So I'll take my tool, run that down. You can see I get a green light as my clutch turns out, and we actually went on to the next step. And of course, we're building an awesome, cool product and want our name on there. I'll grab my sticker, and it'll tell me to then place it on the tackle box. And this is another great application using projector guided work instructions to help you actually place your stickers. We want our sticker on there, correct orientation every single time. So you see I have it perfectly centered in there with that nice little yellow location setting, but I have it upside down again. Now this time I'll use my camera again to actually determine, hey, is that in the right spot? And of course it's not gonna move on to the next step because it's upside down. I'll take that out and place it in the correct location, and it sees it right away and moves on to the very last step, where we now use our Richmond click wrench to just make sure our bolts are nice and tight. And go on there, get a good click, and then we have a nice tackle box. That completes our demo. Dave?
Begin.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it. We will now open up the chat line, Stephen, to answer any questions that people have.
Thank you, guys. We have a question here. How big of an area can we pick from?
Yeah, definitely. So you can have many different projectors with this classic system. You can have up to 17 different projectors. And if you assume maybe you have a 4x6 working area with one projector, times that 17, that's 408 square foot area. So you can really cover whatever area you want.
What other products does Light Guide System produce?
Yeah, so right here we kind of went through the Pro system, or very similar to the classic system, but they also have what they call Train AR, which is great for training. I know right now it's kind of variable time, so maybe we have new operators or trying to train operators on, to become more versed in your operations. The Train AR is a great way to use Light Guide System to make more operators up to speed on all your products. Next, there's Spot Guide, which is kind of a spotlight, like a stadium spotlight-based picking solution. So instead of needing 17 projectors to cover your area, maybe in your warehouse you just have this one spotlight that can cover this 50-foot length of station. And the very last one would be Spot Guide. That's actually a wearable light guide version where you actually wear like a HoloLens or another kind of wearable technology kind of on your face, and it'll actually show you and guide you through a picking application. That's kind of about it.
And just one thing to add regarding Train AR, if you'd like to go to Light Guide Systems or App Solutions, and they have a great video on their website regarding Train AR, and that's a product that we showed a few weeks back as well. So with the COVID-19 situation right now, and making sure that operators are wearing safety equipment and the correct PPE, it does a tremendous job in helping bring those employees back up to speed in a safe way.
A question from Christian. How hard is the programming?
It's actually a very easy program, and I find it to be a lot of fun, even though I have a mechanical engineering background and no coding background. So first of all, I like to say there is no coding. It's kind of like building a PowerPoint. A projector is essentially like a second monitor. You just kind of say, insert this, insert that, and you're done. It's very simple. And if you want to learn more, we'd like to actually show you in person versus this live demo of diving into the software. But it makes a complicated process very easy.
Question from Linda. Could it be used to help guide a truck driver over a pit?
So I would want to know a little bit more about your application, but I would assume so. If you're in a plant location and you're maybe trying to avoid something, projectors are a great way to point you in the right direction, or maybe use the Spot Guide to actually highlight certain things red or throw some green arrows throughout the process. You can kind of guide this, the operator using lights instead of other alternative harder measures. But I think it's possible. We just want to learn more.
Yeah, certainly we'd want to have more information on that specific application, but we certainly can have like dunnage, bringing say bumpers or bringing containers to a site, to the line side. We can absolutely identify where you want those bumpers and or any type of dunnage dropped off in any specific area.
Perfect. Can light guide systems operate in dirty / hazardous environments?
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that we actually run into quite often where light guide is the best is oily environments where we're building kind of complex things that are getting buried in larger machines. So it needs to definitely be done right the first time. And so they find a lot of value in our system. So what we'll actually do is build a custom enclosure for our projectors with both a filter and an AC unit to actually keep them cool to the correct temperature and also keep out any of the harmful substances that might be in the air to damage our projector. But it does work well in those locations, and we have many of those installations currently.
Question from Daniel. For some of the inspection type systems, what sort of data is able to be fed into the software to aid in programming? I.e., could coordinate dimensions of inspection points be programmed for lighting up?
Yeah, definitely. We have a variety of communications. Like on this location or this example, I'm using a TCP/IP communication protocol because use Modbus are kind of a wide variety. But we can easily bring back all that information into Light Guide. It's very variable and a huge plug-and-play system. Can kind of almost work with whatever you want. We just maybe want to get some of our software engineers to define exactly what you need and how we're going to do that.
Question from Skip here. Recommendations for lighting when using LGS?
Definitely being a projector base, you don't want to keep this outside next to a window or under a like a skylight, but it works in most factories. We generally say we want the projector itself to be 1,000 lumens or lux, one of the two units, more than your ambient lighting. But just generally, we just don't want natural light is the biggest condition.
We'll give it a couple more seconds for any last minute questions. Well, I think that's it, guys.
All right, thank you everyone for attending. And if you have any questions, please contact your local Rhino Toolhouse sales engineer if you're looking to increase your first time yield and kitting applications or any more information on light guide systems. And we'd be happy to assist you with your manufacturing challenges. And just a reminder, tomorrow's topic is revolutionize your assembly process with trusted click and digital torque wrenches to achieve an Industry 4.0 factory with our partner Sturtevant Richmond. Thank you again.